supporters that this is the way to do it. I know you quoted now, and power comes from the barrel of a gun, but quoting you, it's power comes from the heart.
Ultimately.
Ultimately, but yeah, ultimately. I mean, how do you make
this moment?
Not this moment.
It is upper hand.
Quite a bit ahead.
Not only Tibet case, and some other sort of cases also. Sometimes, which is unfortunately.
But how do you make that argument to them? Because you've spent your whole life losing to the power of the gun.
I mean, it's true. So, we have to stand truth. Whether material or not, achieved within lifetime or not, it's a different question. That's our principle. In 1959, when we became refugees, of course, some of our friends, few occasions expressed to me, now it's finished. But, yes, anyway, yeah, right. But we determined for our own right, for our own struggle, this is truthful. And also, from the Chinese viewpoint, many patriotic Chinese, you see, very much supportive about our stand. The meaningful autonomy is the best guarantee for preservation of Tibet's rich cultural territory. It is immense benefit to the millions of Chinese. Therefore, and also you see the richness of Tibetan culture. It's also the richness of the culture of people of China.
But I was rereading a part of one of your books this morning where you talked about past struggles with China on the Tibet issue. And you said that one of the lessons you've learned is that every time you push, they come back harder. Which seems to be the same case that's happening now.
Yes.
So, what good is any of it doing in terms of the protests, the words by other governments? Is there any evidence that China is in any way listening?
Very difficult to say. But it is right. It should be expressed. What do you feel? What do you believe? But then, if you, I always have this sort of view, if we look situation locally about Tibet, then public. But if you look from wider perspective, then there is hope, because the people from China is actually in the position of the transition. Things are changing. Now, today, China, compare 20, 30, 40 years ago, much change. Much change. So this change still continues. Now, for example, my picture in Tibet itself, and also those surroundings of Tibet, I mean, those Tibetan areas, they prohibited. What was prohibited? Yeah. But in China proper, in China's big cities like Beijing, there is some Chinese businessman is selling my picture.
Think people be buying them and wearing them in the Olympic Stadium?
I don't know.
Much of the world is at least saying that they support you and that they support the struggle of the Tibetan people. They seem to be saying all the right things. Yet at the same time, we see them rushing off to China to cut trade deals, being supportive of the Olympics. The rest of the world doing enough to support you at a time when your people are being thrown in jail, some killed on the streets in protest?
Certainly.
Are they doing enough?
No, not enough. But then, further question, how much the world can do? It's difficult.
Well, it get cut off contact. They could boycott the Olympics. They could have a trade embargo.
Really, Chinese are very much concerned about the Olympics. They really feel proud that their country came forth. Therefore, reasonably, I fully support the China should be host next Olympics. Right from the beginning.
So
I support. Still, I support.
no boycott.
In spite of the recent sort of the unfortunate things that have happened, still, my position is stay.
You prefer that nobody boycotts sending their teams to the Olympics?
Boycott. Basically, I feel too radical. I prefer to participate. So, I think the world also has the moral responsibility to remind the Chinese leaders in order to be respected for good hope that we used to not only just separation, but the fundamental issue or universal issue, universal values, these things, human rights, religious freedom, and these things the Chinese government should look more seriously.
Is there any possibility that there can be some door open between you and the Chinese leadership to talk about Tibet's place within China? I mean,
Yes.
how seriously, you said before that there are always back channel discussions of some sort going on. How possible could it be that we could see you sitting at a table with a Chinese leader?
I feel very possible, but now with the Chinese, of course, for the immediate method, there was some kind of crackdown, which they already implemented. I think in certain viewpoints, you say, or they in the name of law and order, this is sometimes flashing will happen. But then, this possible, the possibility, now leadership have to think seriously. What is wrong? They spend a lot of money and the generation change. But this young generation who born and grown up under communist sort of happy days, suppose to say, they usually say it like that. So, on paper, sort of artificial expression, they always say, oh, under the little communist, now we are really happy and something like that. If that expression is the reality, then this kind of expression impossible.
We're almost out of time, but we do have more. Final thoughts, one-on-one with the Dalai Lama, right after this.